And welcome back to the marketplace. I was just going through some of your feedback. Let me just read a few for you. Good evening, you guys. Joshua watching from Kisiland. Hi, Joshua. Hope it has come there as it is here in Nairobi. And a question, of course, for Arnold. He says, congratulations, Arnold Munene, as you steer Cusco and in extension the cooperative movement as an enabler of societal empowerment. Josephat Muigai. And then we have another feedback. Why are some regulated Saccos closing down due to misappropriation? For example, Metropolitan and Musco. This is Kiprop from Eldoret. And then someone else asks, hi. What's the percentage of dividends and interest rebates which Cusco gave to its members last year? That's Jashon. So I think we'll start with the first one from Kiprop asking, why are some regulated Saccos closing down due to misappropriation?
Thank you very much for that good question. I started off by saying that some of the challenges that we face in the Sacco sector and the cooperative sector is all revolving about governance.
Right.
And I am happy today to say that the government has an initiative, not an initiative, just to make sure that it cleanups the governance issues through the regulator, through the Commissioner's office, through the PSA's office, through the CSA's office, and through even us as the players in the cooperative sector.
Right.
One good thing to note is that there is an amendment of the Cooperative Bill 2024 that is awaiting the Parliament to just go through and pass. And that bill speaks of governance and oversight, accountability. So I am encouraging and I'm trying to push and request the parliamentarians, when this bill comes to your table, please let us accelerate the passing of this bill, because it's going to clean up and to clear the issues of governance in our cooperatives. That has been something that has been happening, and that's why I said, as Cusco, we would want to have a center of governance, because we can have very good rules, very good regulations, but it starts from you as a person. Honesty, transparency, accountability. Can people believe in you? That's why I told you Saccos are good, because they make decisions. Members choose their leaders. And when they're doing these elections, they should be very keen. Who are we bringing on board? Because they're going to take care or oversee the finances and the operations of our Saccos. So that is going to be sorted out through the Cooperatives Amendment Bill 2024. The oversight is going to be tightened through the structures that will be there in the bill.
All right. Arnold, let's just focus on that bill for a minute there. The Gen Zs wanapenda kusalimiana, especially when they hear that there's a bill that's going to the floor of Parliament. Now, this particular bill, maybe if we could just look into regulations and policies steering a lot of these Saccos, what are some of the changes that would be anticipated if this bill comes to effect? What would be the consequences if it's not taken into effect?
I would just look at it in the consequences if it doesn't take effect, because even Gen Zs, what they are looking for is accountability. And the bill is looking for accountability. And in fact, one of the things that we would want to encourage the youth to get into, and the leadership of the cooperative movement, is to encourage the youth to take leadership positions. Let them be part of the leaderships, because they would want to associate and relate to institutions that they also lead in. And that's why we are pushing and we are asking Saccos, let's see how we can transition, accommodate, and have the youth join this, the cooperative in terms of leadership. So I'll agree with you and tell you that the Gen Zs will be very happy, because this bill is progressive. It's going to sort out some inadequacies that are there that needs to be sorted in the progression of these cooperatives going into the future.
Right. Let's just look at misappropriation again once more. Now, of course, those are huge plans that could curb a lot of misappropriation within these Saccos. And you have said that it is also an initiative of the people within these Saccos to vote in people that they do trust, right? However, what are the low-hanging fruits that, Cusco, for example, can help with in order to ensure that the cases of misappropriation is taken out of the equation so that there could be more memberships taken up in different Saccos?
One of the things is through our advocacy. We need to speak out. We need to share with not only the leadership of Saccos, but even the members.
Right.
What are your rights? What are the red flags that you will be able to identify when an institution is going through financial challenges?
Right.
What rights do you have as a member that you can stop it?
Right.
And you can whistleblow? You can go to the regulator, their complaints desk, you can come to Cusco,
Right.
and we can be able to sort it out through other agencies and make sure that we protect the funds. Because one of the greatest things that we want to accomplish is the confidence levels.
Right.
It is for the members to trust that Saccos are the engines, are safe, that you can grow with them.
Right.
From grass to grace.
All right. Now, we did take some of the views of Kenyans from, different counties. We wanted to know how people interact with the Saccos and what they've been going through, and these are some of their grievances.
Nimekuwa kwa Sacco nyingi katika idara ya bodaboda, lakini tukakuwa na changamoto ya kwamba tukiingia kwa Sacco unagarantia mtu mwingine wa bodaboda loan anatoroka. Sasa hivi tukakuwa na hiyo changamoto ya kusainia watu wa bodaboda.
Na nimekuwa kwa Sacco kwa muda mrefu. Niliingia kwa Sacco mwaka wa 2016 na nimekuwa nikifanya biashara, kuwekeza kwa Sacco. Lakini sasa kwa muda huu nimekuwa na changamoto mingi zaidi kwa sababu nimekuwa nimesainia watu 3 ambao wamefanya nikatwe pesa zangu mingi. Sasa changamoto ambayo nimekuwa nayo ni kwamba mimi nikihitaji zile pesa zangu ama nikihitaji loan pale kwa Sacco siwezi pewa kwa sababu already sina shares kwa sababu zimekatwa. Naomba kama tunaweza pata njia mwafaka ya kuendelesha hizi Sacco, tungefurahia sana kama wafanyabiashara kwa sababu kama mtu anaweza jisimamia yeye mwenyewe ni vizuri kuliko kusimamiwa na mwingine. Saccos huwa wanakata tu shares za wenye wamegaranti. Hakuna jambo lingine ambalo wanafanya.
It seems that some Kenyans are not very trustworthy, and that is bringing a lot of problems. And as I said earlier, for a lot of Saccos, you can't just register. You need someone to, vouch for you, and maybe that person would need you to be a guarantor, to even out the odds, and then it ends up being an issue. They've taken a loan, and now you're the one who's going to be, paying for it. How exactly do you think that this can be changed, knowing that Cusco, is an umbrella body for a lot of these Saccos?
You're spot on. What you've said, you're spot on. And thank you. Na ningetaka kuongea na Kiswahili ndio tuweze.
Yes, please.
Pole sana kwa sababu nimesikia my fellow cooperator amesema kwamba haamini kwa sababu kila wakati ni kukatwa shares.
Right.
Huyo atangesema anaanguka, Sacco inaanguka nayo. Lakini the foundation of the guarantorship model ilikuwa kujuana.
Right.
Kama mimi nakujua, I know where you come from, I know your character, mimi nakuwekea nasema huyu mimi namjua zaidi. Kama maneno itafanyika mbaya, mimi nitamshughulikia, I'll pay this portion. Kwa sababu pale kwa guarantorship,
Right.
you take a portion. You don't take the entire. You take a portion. Because ukiangalia wale watu wa bodaboda, na rafiki yangu ameongea vizuri sana, ni hawezi kuwa pengine wako na zile assets ambazo wanaweza kwenda kuwekeza kama security ama collateral. So lazima watumie mwenzake ndio waweze kuandikiana that mimi nataka kuchukua 1,200, lakini out of the 1,200 utaniwekeza ama utanigaranti 50,000.
Right.
So it's about trust. But Saccos have also gone ahead and said, if you have enough savings, you don't need guarantors. Your savings can guarantee you.
All right.
And again, other Saccos have also gone ahead. They are telling you, you don't have to get guarantors. If you have a collateral, a title deed, it is okay. You can place it. And the fundamental is, let us have the cooperation so that we don't move the spirit of cooperatives to be a bit stringent and it does not speak to the grassroots person, the common mwananchi. Yes.
Now, I want us to go to this question from Jashon. He did ask, what was the percentage dividends and interest rebates which Cusco gave to its members last year? Dividends is very, it's a touchy subject. So please tell us.
Dividends is actually enticing. And when members join Saccos, apart from getting affordable credit, enjoying benefits of seamless services, financial literacy, and all those things, there is always that interest on members' deposit and dividends. Now, for the question you've asked, and for the member who has asked, I've mentioned that we are going through a statutory audit, which is going to give us our financial position for 2023. So once that is done, the question will be answered. But for now, the audits are still ongoing.
All right.
Yes.
So you said 60 days, right?
2 months at most, we'll be able to get an audit report and we'll be able to share with our members.
Now, I do realize that even amidst all of these, one would say challenges, amidst all of that, there's still going to be, Kenya will be hosting the 2024 Saka Congress, which is Africa's largest annual financial cooperative event. And Cusco is collaborating with ACOSCA and the government to host over 2,000 cooperators from 42 different countries. And we know that Kenya is the leading in terms of cooperative matters and Sacco matters within the continent, and we are above, average internationally. What does this mean for us? We are hosting this particular conference. What changes are we going to be seeing?
Thank you very much for that good question. Kenya is hosting the largest financial cooperatives event dubbed Saka Congress 2024. Saka Congress is going to bring together 2,000 participants, professionals from 44 countries, and we expecting Kenyans, cooperators, professionals, like in Kenya, to bring as many cooperators as possible. Now, this conference is going to happen on 6th to 12th of October in Naivasha, Nakuru County, and some of the highlights that we expect from this conference is we are going to expect a 15 ministerial delegation from across Africa. This is the first of its kind, that we are bringing in ministers from different countries to come together in one table and discuss on progression of our cooperative movement, best practices, areas of partnership. The number two, we'll have our head of state, His Excellency, our President, will be the chief guest of this Saka Congress, where we're going to invite internationals who are going to visit our country. It's going to put us as Kenyans in a global map, that we are going to show the world, Cusco being part of it, in collaboration with the government and ACOSCA, that we are going to showcase to the world the muscles of the cooperatives in Kenya and in our continent. We expect this convention, as part from benchmarking and looking at the pillars, because the convention is going to look at the 4 pillars of the Sustainable Development Goals, people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. Every day we're going to be discussing on those pillars. We'll have 12 pre-conference workshops. These are like clinics, areas of leadership, areas of servant leadership, areas of governance, ICT, cybersecurity, so that we impact knowledge, best practice globally, so that we can have a cooperative movement in the world that is progressive, that handles the members' financial needs, and brings members socially and economically. I'll tell you from the statistics from work, we have 400 million cooperators globally, and this is huge, and that tells you you're getting cooperators or credit union experts from US, they're going to be with us. Canada, they're going to be with us. Germany, all of them are going to be in this country. And it's going to spur our tourism sector.
Yes.
So foreign exchange, I'm even happy for Nakuru County. It's going to be a boom. I'm happy for that Mama Mboga, the taxi driver, the hospitality sector. We are going to enjoy. And this is something that Kenya, we are very proud and we are happy that we are hosting this massive financial event for cooperatives.
All right. This is the 24th edition, right?
Yes.
And it's going to be hosted within the country. In as much as, Cusco may be having some issues that are being dealt with, what difference is this one going to make, especially for the Sacco and cooperative scene within the country?
Thank you for that good question. One of the things that Kenyans cooperatives are going to benefit is the networking. The networking between our cooperatives and our international practitioners who are going to join us. There are cooperatives that have been very progressive in the United States, big, massive. We want to borrow the best practices.
Right.
How can we innovate and bring our Saccos or our cooperatives to a level where everyone talks about it in the house?
Right.
How do we, in terms of innovation, technology, sharing knowledge and sharing the best practices. So we expect our cooperatives to learn from the best. And that is one of the things that we want to foster through this Congress. And having the ministers from different countries, having our president gracing the occasion shows the commitment that the government has in putting cooperatives in the map as the engines of bringing out the better it's called the bottom up transformation agenda for the government, so that we bring everybody on board, so that we can uplift and economically we bring because I'll tell you, 30% of the national savings come from the Saccos.
Right.
That tells you how huge it is. And I would wish to see the Hustler Fund now formalizing into our cooperatives, because we are approved, we have a track record, and we are trying to tighten all the gaps and loopholes so that we bring trust and confidence to our members.
All right. This sparks my curiosity a little bit. As journalists, we always want to know what's happening next. Would this be a good place where the government is going to be announcing the joint base that, the former cabinet secretary was talking about? Would this be a place where Saccos are going to be, connected in ways that they've never been connected before? Should we maybe think that maybe there's going to be a joint base that they're going to be sharing? Would that be a possibility?
That will be a possibility. That is what we're looking forward to have the government through this ministerial event coming up with a declaration of this is what we want for the entire continent and globally. I'll tell you, we are lucky that UN declared last year, 2023, International Year of Cooperatives. So we are going to have 2025 as the International Year for Cooperatives. And that's why this conference, we have aligned ourselves to the Sustainable Development Goals of the 3 Ps I've mentioned, people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships. And that is what we want to drive in this conference.
We're getting feedback here from Kisumu City. Charles Assemble is saying, I'm happy that I just registered as a Sacco member today. I have the feeling that ours will be prosperous going into the future. Clearly, people are very hopeful right now. Where do you see the Sacco movement going in the future? Some people may be naysayers. They would say maybe, we're not going to be having Saccos in the next, 5-10 years, because the youth may not be very open to them. Where do you see the future of Saccos?
The future of Sacco, I'm seeing the youth taking over the Saccos. We have created very powerful engines in our cooperatives. And I am also looking at our number of membership from 14 million to almost half of our population. I would look at areas where, like in infrastructure, like in terms of roads, our cooperatives should take over in this economy. They can run the infrastructure of this country. We don't have to borrow as a country. Cooperatives can come together. They have the muscles.
Right.
The trains that we have in electric trains in future, these will be babies that cooperatives will hold.
Right.
And this is what the future holds, because we want cooperatives, Saccos to be a household name.
Right.
That today my daughter, who is 3 years, she will learn, because Saccos have now come in to tell people that you can start from as little as 3 years in a junior savings account.
Right.
By the time you get to the age of Arnold, you'll have learned that saving is part of life.
Right.
It's a tradition. It's something that you need to do without anyone asking you.
Right.
And that is a culture that Kenyans we need to adopt, that saving small shillings, 50 shillings, 20 shillings, it is good. That's why I said, one thing that money promises you is you save me today and I'll save you tomorrow.
All right.
Yes.
Now, you've thrown a wrench into the works, and it's quite interesting that you'd say that. Would it be possible for cooperatives to even bid for government projects and partake in those government projects? Because now I'm seeing people would be interested in going into the, Saka convention in Naivasha. Would that be a possibility where cooperatives now take up as a group projects and even, go ahead to do them?
Yes.
Cooperatives could be tenderpreneurs.
Thank you. Thank you for that good question. In other developed countries, cooperatives have taken up those infrastructures. That the government, you can see hospitals are owned by cooperatives. Look at the infrastructure, roads. Cooperatives are taken over. They have a kind of a partnership with the government, so that the government can take advantage of the sector, the aggregation of savings from Saccos and the surpluses they have. They can promote those projects. Right. I'm looking forward to a day we'll have an Ushirika referral hospital owned by cooperatives. And with the subsidized health charges, that I will go to a hospital and say, this is my own. I go to a school, this is a cooperative's, this is my own. I go to Standard Railway Gauge and go to Mombasa and say, this is a project that is owned by the movement. Right. And that is where the future holds for us.
All right. Now, what would you say to Kenyans who are watching you right now as we wrap up this particular conversation, especially considering that we're going to be having Saka in the near future? What would you say to Kenyans?
I would want to take this opportunity to invite all Kenyans and all cooperators to join us in the 2024 Saka Congress that is going to be held from 6th to 12th of October in Naivasha, at Naivasha Resort in Nakuru County. We are expecting 2,000 professionals from 44 countries, and we're expecting to have a conversation around Saccos, best practices, how we can uplift, innovate, and this is going to be the best financial cooperative event that Kenya has ever had. We are going to be in the global map, sharing with the world what we've done, and sharing the heritage of our country. So I want to invite all cooperators to join us. Let's meet in Naivasha. And share for the days that you're going to have the convention, and we're looking forward to have all of us join in this convention.
All right.
For registration, they can register through our social media, handles at Cusco, in our Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. They can also go to ACOSCA website, www.acosca.org, and register. We're encouraging all Kenyans to join.
All right. Arnold, before we even wrap up, there's a last-minute question coming from Jashon. I would love for you to answer this in the least amount of words possible. He says, what steps does the government and Cusco take to ensure that members of Saccos which go under don't lose their savings? Is SASRA strong enough to regulate Saccos the way banks are regulated?
Yes, SASRA is very strong, and thank you for that question. It's very strong to regulate our Saccos. We have seen a lot of changes, a lot of accountability in Saccos, a lot of growth. And I'll give my brother some confidence that in Sacco Societies Act 2008, there's a provision for deposit guarantee fund, which is the best practice in the banks. If a Sacco fails, there is a buffer, there's a cushion. We want to operationalize that provision so that even members can be confident that in case there is a problem in a Sacco that it goes down, at least there's a cushion and you can be given part of your savings so that people do not lose their money. That will give confidence.
Thank you so much, Arnold, for even joining us this night. We were talking about Saccos. We have demystified a lot of issues, and we've gotten a word from Cusco that went a bit mum after, you know, the Cabinet Secretary disbanded its board, and we will be following up on that even more. But for now, it's good night from me, Hibak Saeed, and of course the producer and director and everyone who has been a part of this particular bulletin. Have yourselves a very lovely night. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, we're done.